Coming to you from the Black Goat 39 studios, this is the Guru Talking Sports Podcast, episode 126. Now here's your host, the Guru of Sports.
Up to my ankles, she claims up to my knee. She claims the town of Chicago. She claims to follow with me. She's about to break it down. She came and she drove away. So I knew her hell. She claims to the river of sadness. She claims up to my thigh. Yeah, rain down the edge of the city. No way, the river's a weeping. She came to town and she drove away. Sunlight in her hair. Indians scattered on dawn's highway bleeding. Ghosts crowned the young child's fragile eggshell mind.
You guys know what time it is.
Blood in the streets in the town of New Haven. Blood stains the roofs and the palm trees of Venice. Bloody my love in the terrible summer. Bloody red sun of fantastic LA.
You know what time it is when you hear the sound of my man Jim Morrison and the Doors. You know it's time for the Guru to step to the mic. Hello, sports fans, and welcome. Welcome to the Guru Talking Sports Podcast. This is episode 126. I am your host, the Guru of Sports. And I also want to tell you guys that I am also Mac and Bear Delaware on Twitter. The reason I tell you that is because I have something special to share with you probably towards the end of the program. And I want you guys to know that I am very glad to be here with you today. This is Sunday morning. It is, what is the day? August the 7th. Wow. August the 7th, 2022. I'm just so excited to be here today. But I want to talk to you guys about last week. Last week was really, really hard for me. And I am not afraid to tell you guys about my week and the things I go through because I'm a human being. And I want you guys to know that I really, really appreciate life in general. And I appreciate just being able just to come here every single week. Just to say, talk to you guys. I don't claim myself to be anything more than just a a minor league podcast guy, because I know that there's a lot of podcasts out there that are bigger than this, but you know what? That's fine. I like doing what I'm doing. And I want you guys to know that I appreciate you for listening every single week. I thank you. If you can see me right now, I have my hands folded in like the prayer hands, and bowing to the microphone right now, saying thank you for just tuning in and listening to the Guru Talking Sports podcast. Now, I do want to start off with, it was really hard this week. Four notable people in the entertainment world, sports world, entertainment, and music world passed away this week. And nothing hit me more harder than the passing of Vin Scully. I got a lot of stories to tell this week, and I'm going to play a lot of clips, and, it's going to be a very, very interesting podcast this week. Now, first story I'm going to tell you is this. When I joined the Navy and I finished boot camp, went to boot camp in Great Lakes, Illinois. If any of you people up there in Great Lakes, Illinois know where I'm talking about, the winters up there are not kind at all. So I went up there in November, and I got out in January. In February of 1982, to date myself, here it is, 1982, I find myself on a plane going out to Los Angeles, and, I was stationed on the USS New Jersey battleship. I found out later that I was one of the people that was handpicked to go onto that ship. And that was an honor for me. That was an honor. One of the biggest honors I ever had in my life. And I'm proud to say that I am a handpicked battleship sailor. Wow. That is something else. But when I landed in Los Angeles and got to my new duty station in Long Beach, California, the first thing I wanted to do, not see the ship. Well, I saw the ship, and it was amazing, something else. But the first thing I wanted to do was go to Dodger Stadium, because that was one of my biggest thrills of being in Los Angeles, going to Dodger Stadium, sitting out there with all the Dodger fans. Now, I have already been a big Dodger fan when I was a young kid. Growing up, I used to love watching Dusty Baker, Reggie Smith, Steve Garvey, Steve Sachs, Bill Russell, the shortstop for the Dodgers. I'm going to be talking about Bill Russell, the basketball player, a little bit later. But one of the things I always wanted to do was go out to Dodger Stadium, sit in that beautiful ballpark, which I've been to a lot of times. I got to admit, I've been to over 1,000 baseball games, and most of them were spent in Dodger Stadium. When I get out to Dodger Stadium, I wanted to listen to none other than the legendary voice of Vin Scully. And man, when I got out there the first time, I bought me a little Sony radio, turned to the radio station that they played the Dodger games on, and sat there and said to myself, this is life. I've made it. Wow, this is a great, great honor. Just to be sitting in Dodger Stadium, looking out at Chavez Ravine and looking at the beautiful, beautiful backdrop that I always seen in television when I was sitting on the East Coast in the projects of Southbridge, Wilmington, Delaware. Wow, that was something else. A dream come true. To see the palm trees and see everything that I always dreamed about, just going out to Los Angeles and being there. So I got to thank the United States Navy for making the dream come true for me to be able to travel all over the world. And I've been all over the world, 5 continents, and been there and seen almost everything imaginable to see. It was great. But just sitting in Dodger Stadium for the first time, listening to the radio, listening to Vin Scully, man, that was something else. His passing this week took a little bit out of me. I just don't know that it would affect me the way it did. But it did. It affected me very, very strongly. When I got home yesterday morning, I had recorded some stuff from his little memorials thing, get together, and some of the things that I had to DVR to try to put together some of the things that I wanted to think about and wanted to say about Vin Scully today. And one of them was outside, I think it was either Outside the Lines or Sports Center. I got all that stuff on my DVR right now. But when they start singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and they was talking about Vin Scully, it finally hit me. It finally hit me. I spent an hour in the studio, isolated from the family, isolated from the 2 dogs, and I sat here and I cried for about an hour. Because Vin Scully, I never met him. I never met Vin Scully. But his voice was a part of my life. And since his passing and since the, notification of his passing, it took a little bit out of me. A lot of people say men shouldn't cry, men should be strong. I am pretty strong. I think I am a pretty strong person. But the thing is that I really believe that crying shows your human side. Crying shows that you're a part, that you have feelings, you have things that you think about, and things that affect you, and things that will be with you. And I have to say, Vin Scully was a part of my life for the time I lived out in Los Angeles. It really affected me. I got wind of his passing, I'll say about like maybe 2:30 or so in the morning of late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. I was on my way to Boston. I was in Boston 3 times this week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I'll be headed back up there tomorrow. Later on tonight, early tomorrow. So it really felt as though that Vin Scully's passing was like a death in my family. I sent out a tweet, and this is what I want to read this tweet to you. It says, I'm not afraid to talk about my PTSD and my depression. It's heavy, it's real, and after this week, it's been really tough. Thank God I have good people in my corner. And I ask, tell me about yours. We all need someone to talk to. I thought it was just something just to put out there, just to let people know that, hey, I was having a rough week. But the response I got was very, very interesting. Very interesting. And I'm going to thank, right off the bat, I'm going to thank a lot of people for their responses. This one is from my man Moisha. He's known as Moist Pork on Twitter. The only reason I'll explain to you why he's called Moist Pork. Well, because our good old friend Sean Mraz on the DA show messed up his name, wrote his name down wrong or something like that, and he started calling him Moist Pork. It says, I'm sorry, Mac, that I can't think of the right words for you right now. But know that I'm thinking about you. It is great to have people to talk to. I'm going to take one from Steve, NSP, which is my man Steve from Severna Park. And he says, hashtag Guru Strong. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That made me laugh, and that made me think. My man Rob in the 321 says, I lost my cousin from PTSD, Mac. You can always reach out to me. I'm always here. And I really appreciate that. Thank you, Rob. Rob is like a brother to me. Even though he's a Michigan fan, and you know how I feel about Michigan fans. Same way I feel about Eagle fans. They're something else. But, I've learned that, when you have people in your corner like Rob, I really appreciate that. And got a lot of likes from this, and I really appreciate the likes. And matter of fact, here's one from my man Steve. Steve, Moisha, Hyam, AJ. We all spent the day with DA about a week ago, and I told you guys about, if you guys listen to episode 125, I talk about how excited I was to meet all these guys, and I'm really appreciative to meet all these guys. Here's a tweet from Steve. Hey, Mac, My heart goes out to you. Positive vibes your way, and keep talking, my friend. I talk about my dad as much as possible since he passed. My condolences go out to you, Steve, and I thank you for your tweet, and I really appreciate that. Here's one from Carla Morton. Really appreciate you, Carla. Thank you. And this is my sister, my D-Alien sister, and I really appreciate that. Now, the other people that I mentioned are my D-Alien brothers, and I appreciate that. Here's one from my D-Alien sister. Hey, friend. I'm sorry it's been a hard week. I'm glad you're good. Peeps are helping you. I'm glad your good peeps are helping you. My colleagues and family help me. Plus, friends. Take care. Stay strong. Thank you, Carla. I really, really appreciate that. And I'm not going to be afraid to say this, but I love all my D-Alien friends and peeps, and I really appreciate that. Mraz sent me a funny picture of him with his flamingo shirt on, and I replied to it, my dude, I really appreciate you. Sean Marash, a great funny character. Funny, I know he's a great funny guy. I love the D-Aliens. I love the DA show, and these guys have made me feel as though I'm a part of a family, which is a really good thing, and I really appreciate that. I want to thank Mariana also for allowing me to explain to her, and we talking, and I appreciate her. I appreciate Adriana. I got a lot of, like I said, this is only the beginning of the show, and I'm definitely going to talk about everybody that gave me shouts and words of encouragement to move forward, and I really appreciate that. And like I said last week, I didn't get a chance to shout anybody out, but I'm definitely going to shout a lot of people out, and I wanted to thank them for everything that they've done, or just the mentions and the tweets and everything. Now, like I said, hey, if you have a Twitter handle or so, get it to me. I'll make sure that I include you on the shout outs as well. So I know this is pretty long, and I usually don't do a 25 or 30-minute opening, but I want you guys to know that I really appreciate everything that everyone has done. I really appreciate this because, like I mentioned before, is that Vin Scully, I never met the man, I never knew the man, but I felt as though that he was more or less a part of my life, because when I lived in Los Angeles, being a big Dodger fan helped me get through some of the pain of being away from home, being away from the East Coast, being away from Delaware and Maryland and Pennsylvania. It helped me to calm me down and to put a little bit of thought into life, and put a little bit of thought into the things of being away from home, and something to look forward to. So I want to mention that. And like I said, I'm going to play some clips. This is going to be a little bit longer podcast than normal, but I want you guys to remember that what I'm talking about, and what you're going to hear, and what I'm going to present to you today is very important, because I want you guys to think about, one, your mental health, two, life in general, and three, talking to someone, if you need to talk to someone, don't be afraid to talk to someone. When things get blurry or things get heavy or when things go out of reach, gotta talk to someone. And I got a lot of people to thank. I got a lot of people to thank. But I want you guys to know that I'm good. I'm good. I'm better. You know, I usually get really nervous when I pick up this microphone in the beginning. But once I start talking, I settle down and I feel a little bit better. I thank you for just being with me and listening to me. You know, like I said, I'm just a minor league podcast hack host or whatever you want to call it. But I really, really appreciate you taking the time to listening to me. You know, maybe I might have an impact on someone else. You know, maybe I can, talk to someone that might need to be talked, might need a little bit of, guidance or a little bit of comforting because of their situation. You know, I always try to be a help to someone else. And a friend of mine this week found out she had COVID. I wanted to check on her, make sure that she's okay. Send people words of encouragement. What you got to do is take yourself out of it and think of others and make sure that the people that need you are there for you. Okay, got a lot of podcasts to do. And like I said, I'm sorry that, this is over 25 minutes. But I want you guys to know that coming up, I'm going to be talking, since his passing, I wanted to bring you some of the great announcers. I'm going to talk a little bit of baseball. I know that the trade deadline went through. Juan Soto did get moved. That was a shock to me. I didn't think that he was going to, but he did get moved. And I want to talk about the impact of what San Diego is going to do right now. Deshaun Watson, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that because that is just a total mess. And I'm tired of talking about it because I'm just tired of talking about it. Also, I'm going to talk about Bill Russell. I got a little bit of Cousin Aaron, like usual. And, hey, Pro Football Hall of Fame went down. I got something for you guys that I'm going to challenge you guys on. And I'm going to make a little bit of announcement later on. That'll be probably the last thing I'll talk about in the second half. Like I said, the second half is going to be very, very busy with, talking about Bill Russell and Vin Scully. I probably don't want to, I want to talk about two other people that I learned of their passing, but I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I just want to mention them and let them, my condolences go out to their families as well. So, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a break and we're going to go to my favorite, the voice actress lady, which is one of my favorite people, and I really appreciate her contribution to this podcast. I have to make sure that I let her know that I really appreciate her, and she's very, very good people and good friend, and I really appreciate her. And see, that's the thing. I'm not gonna. I don't take anyone for granted. I don't take anyone for granted, and I want to thank everybody I can because It's not about me. It's not about me. It's about you. And I appreciate you. Okay. All right, let's take a break right here. I'm going to go get some coffee. And I already took the dogs out. And they're okay for right now. So here's voice actress lady. And we're going to take our first break. Here we go.
You're listening to the Guru Talking Sports Podcast.
3 times in his sensational career has Sandy Koufax walked out to the mound to pitch a fateful ninth where he turned in a no-hitter. But tonight, September the 9th, 1965, he made the toughest walk of his career, I'm sure, because through 8 innings he has pitched a perfect game. He has struck out 11. He has retired 24 consecutive batters. And the first man he will look at is catcher Chris Cruz, big right-hand hitter. Fly to center, grounded to short. Dick Tracewski is now at second base, and Koufax ready and delivers. Curve ball for a strike.
All right, that is no other than the great voice of Vin Scully. And I think what I'm going to do is when I come back from break, I'm going to play this because this is from Sandy Koufax's 4th perfect game, or no-hitter perfect game. Vin Scully had to call on this, and he mentioned that was September the 9th, 1966. Guru messes up everything. Guru forgets. But anyway, it was from 9/9/65. Guru was right. Okay. Now, we got a lot of things to get to, and I want to basically talk some sports like I usually do, which is one of the reasons why that you tune into this, because I do talk sports, and I really like talking sports. Now, trade deadline went down this week. Wow, San Diego really, really got a boost when they picked up Juan Soto and Josh Bell. And they also picked up Brandon Drury from the Cincinnati Reds. They are going to be a powerhouse. But they didn't look so good the last couple of days with playing the Dodgers, which my Dodgers, and also my Padres. So it's going to be really, really interesting how they look the rest of the season. I've seen some tweets and I've seen some, posts on Facebook that, San Diego's going to win the World Series. We don't know. But puts them in a very interesting spot now. Because I do think that they have the inside track on definitely getting to the playoffs. I could say, hey, you know what? They are going to make the playoffs. No matter what, they are going to make the playoffs. But we got to look at it this way. Did they make the right moves to win the World Series? We got to find out. Now, some, other notable trades. Trey Mancini did leave Baltimore, which is very depressing to me. Well, I kind of thought that the Orioles would try to keep their place and their lineup and their people in place to try to make a run at this thing. Not doing too bad. They won yesterday, and they're only maybe a game behind the 3 leaders in the wild card race in the American League. Can you believe this? The Orioles now have more wins this season than they did last season, and probably the last couple seasons. Because, the last couple seasons, they done lost over 100 some odd games. So, I'm praying for the Orioles to keep doing well. And like I said, last week when I went to that game, that was the first game I have been to since the pandemic. And the first game that, like I said, it was a blast. That game was a blast. And I'm still pretty high from that game. pretty high emotionally wise from that game. That was an excellent game. I love my Orioles. I'm always going to root for my Orioles. I'm always going to root for my city of Baltimore. And I want you guys to know that, hey, look, you know what? I can root for any team I want to. I got a lot of teams that I do root for, but I am a Baltimorean. My heart is in Baltimore, and that's who I'm definitely going to always root for. Because it seems as though that they're always an underdog. Definitely an underdog. Okay, now, Joey Gallo did get moved, and guess what? He ended up with the Dodgers. And he didn't do too bad in his first game. And not too bad. I got to say, it was kind of a little sketchy. I thought the Yankees kind of fleeced the Dodgers on that, giving, saying, hey, look, we can unload Gallo on any any team that we feel as though that needs him to just get out of here. But they got rid of Jordan Montgomery, or they got rid of Montgomery too. And Montgomery faced them for the first time and beat them last night for the St. Louis Cardinals. Wow, that was pretty interesting. All right, so we got a little bit of stuff on the trade deadline. Like I said, that blockbuster trade for Juan Soto, I think it's going to pay off pretty handsomely for the San Diego Padres. As long as the Giants ain't in it, I'm okay. All right. I hate to say that. But, I'm I like the Dodgers. It's just funny. I like the Dodgers. I like the Padres. I like the A's. But we all hate the Giants. It's the way it goes because, if you're a Dodger fan, you don't like the Giants at all. So, anyway, let's talk about the Mets a little bit. The Mets, they look good. They added some key players. And one thing I was really, really excited to see was Jacob deGrom coming back. And man, he looked good. Gave up a couple runs or whatever, but I'm looking forward to trying to watch a little bit of the game today, if I can find it. I'm not sure if, I don't know why I don't have SNY, but I'm definitely going to try to get SNY and the Yes channel so I can be able to watch some Yankee games and some Met games. Don't tell Miss Guru that I'm doing this because, she'll have a heart attack about me adding on to the Comcast package here. But I do, have to definitely try to find the Mets. Let me see who they play. They're playing the Braves, so that's going to be at 4:00. And watch to upgrade. I'm actually on the. Okay, I'm trying to subscribe to the MLB package. Don't tell anybody, but I'm trying to subscribe to it. $23 for 4 months. Yeah, half a season. Yeah, why not? Uh-oh. I just did a boo-boo. Uh-oh. Oopsie. I just subscribed to the MLB package, which I said I wasn't going to because I was so mad at baseball. And I just really, really didn't care about baseball at the beginning of the season because they made me so freaking mad. I just couldn't believe they made me so freaking mad. But you know what? I look at it this way. Baseball, I love the game. I've always loved baseball. That was my first sport. My first love. So, you know what? Hey, I have to do what I got to do because I definitely need to, just concentrate on baseball a little bit more, even though that they don't concentrate. Baseball doesn't concentrate on itself. I have to concentrate on baseball and trying to get it up there a little bit more. Okay? So I'm going to end this little bit of portion of baseball and tell you guys that, hey, look, I just subscribed to the MLB package. Next week, I can tell you how bad it went with me subscribing and, adding on to the Comcast bill. All right, so let's talk a little bit of football, okay? Got the Hall of Fame game that went down the other night. Raiders and the Las Vegas Raiders. I was getting ready to say Oakland. My Las Vegas Raiders and my Jacksonville Jaguars. None of the people, except for Josh Jacobs, played a whole lot in this game. I wanted to see how Travis Etienne was going to do because I'm definitely drafting him on my fantasy team. But I didn't get a chance to see him. I didn't get a chance to see Trevor Lawrence. No Carr, no Devontae Adams. None of those guys played. So it was just a basic game. So, it was good to see the Raiders, score the first touchdown of the season and get the first, technically a preseason win, which is okay. No problem. All right. Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame went down yesterday, which is kind of weird because it usually goes down Saturday night. But this was kind of weird because, I got home, like I said, I got home early yesterday morning. I got home about like maybe 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And I was, said, hey, look, you know what? I'll come in, take me a nap, and then I'll definitely watch the Hall of Fame later that night so I can take some notes and I can be able to be fresh to watch and give you guys a little bit of something for the Hall of Fame. But guess when it came on? It came on yesterday afternoon at about noon. And not a bad deal. But also I want to tell you, before I go into talking about the Hall of Fame, I have on a shirt right now, which is a 2022 Tony Boselli Hall of Fame t-shirt. It says Pro Football Hall of Fame 2022 Tony Boselli Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, why is that so significant to you out there? Because I know some of you don't even know who the Jacksonville Jaguars are because they've been so bad and so inconsistent for the last maybe 6 or 7 years or so. Why? Okay. Here's the reason why. I'm a Jacksonville Jaguar fan because the stinking Colts left Baltimore. And when I was out in Los Angeles, a Raider fan, I rooted for the Raiders. So when they got two new teams in the league, Carolina and Jacksonville, I picked Jacksonville because, hey, I thought Jacksonville was cool. Florida, I'll never go down there because all the weird stuff that goes on down there. And plus, there's a lot of gators. And also going to mention this. My mom, my sister, and my nephew are flying down to Florida this week. And I told them, I said, hey, look, y'all can go because when you get off that plane, Wally Gator will probably be meeting you at the airport with a top hat on. And I'm not, hey, I'm my man Rob tells me to come down there all the time. I'm not coming down to Florida. I cannot go down to Florida. Yeah, you know what? I just told my mom, I said, hey, pick me up a 3X t-shirt. Pick me up a 3X t-shirt. I am not going to Florida. She says she'll bring me something back, which is really cool. So anyway, I got on this Jacksonville Jaguars shirt because Tony Boselli was one of the guys that I watched and I admired when he played football. And I always liked him, even though he went to USC. And I like UCLA, so, there's a little bit of a, thing there. Anyway, Tony Baselli was one of my favorite football players. And if you can remember, I don't know if some of you can, because believe me, it seems like over 100 years ago. The Jaguars were pretty good. When they first came in the league, they were in the AFC title game a couple times, the playoffs. Fred Taylor, Mark Brunell, Jimmy Smith, all these guys. I mean, they had really, really good teams. And then the lean years came about. A lot of lean years. But I stuck with them. Because I always loved being able to have a team that I could call my own, even though they're really bad. I really call this team my own. From scratch, from 1995, I've always been a Jacksonville Jaguar fan. Needless to say, they've not been good the last couple of years. Especially that train wreck, dumpster fire, and holy shit show that they put on last year. And believe me, I cannot believe how bad that coach, I will never mention his name on anything ever again, because he is a dirtbag, a scumball, and, what was I getting ready to say? He's a dirtbag and a scumbag. And I hate to call people names, but, that guy is that. And I will never, even though he did coach my favorite team, Ohio State, I will never, ever, ever mention that guy's name ever again, because despicable person, and I definitely don't want to deal with that. Okay. So anyway, like I said, Jacksonville Jaguars is my team. Even though that they're really bad, I don't care. I still deal with them. Tony Baselli was my idol. He was my guy. And I'm so glad that he finally got in. Every single year I used to listen to, go on Twitter and make a pitch for Tony Baselli for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Guess what? He finally got in, which was cool. I got home yesterday, like I was saying again. Got home yesterday, took a little nap, woke up, and guess what? It was time for Tony Baselli to speak for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I got a chance to watch it. I got it DVR'd. It was just a, stroke of luck in God that, I was able to watch him. I also have to mention that I'm a big fan of Cliff Branch, Oakland Raiders. Won the Super Bowl with John Madden, God rest his soul. Richard Seymour, who played most of his time in New England, he's also a Raider. I got to mention him too. Leroy Butler, Green Bay Packers, I got to mention him because, he made one of the biggest statements saying that, when you win a Super Bowl, doors open up. When you make the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the heavens open up, which was a beautiful thing. Beautiful speech by him. Art McNally, great guy. Hope he's doing well. He's still with us, and I hope he's doing well. Great official. Sam Mills, the late Sam Mills, something else. Undersized, really good guy. Dick Vermeil, great coach, UCLA coach, I got to admit. Philadelphia Eagles, yeah, he was your coach. And there was a lot of stuff on the local news about him getting into the Hall of Fame here. And they're, Philadelphia Eagle fans are very proud organization, loud organization, but they all love Dick Vermeil. Brian Young made a very, very heart-touching speech about his son that he lost. And to tell you the truth, Brian Young to me was always under the radar, very under the radar guy. And he made the Hall of Fame. And I got to mention that these guys, this was a very, very good Hall of Fame class. And led by my man, Tony Baselli. And I really appreciate Tony Baselli finally getting into the Pro Football Hall of Fame for the first Jacksonville Jaguar to get in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which is very special. Great day for Duval and my Jaguars, even though they did lose the Hall of Fame game. It doesn't matter. It was only preseason, but anyway. All right, finishing up that and letting you guys know that I really appreciate talking about the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now I got to go to something I don't want to talk about, Deshaun Watson. What can I say? Total scumbag. I am very much thinking about, and I don't know if I can do this, but I am going to try. I'm going to put a note out into my fantasy football league to do not draft this guy. My personal thoughts is that he should be in jail. And I don't know what Sue L. Robinson was doing, but, I'm going to go back to that. I think Deshaun Watson is a total, I hate to say this, shit stain, to say the least. Cleveland, I'm sorry that you have to go through this. But guess what? Houston, I know you just say, hey, you know what? Wipe my hands clean of that fool. I'm done. I don't need to deal with him. Good for you, Houston. You got your draft picks. And you know what? They probably end up beating the Jaguars two games this year. But you know what? I think Houston is a little bit better. Davis Mills is going to be okay. Deshaun Watson, like they say, when there's smoke, there's fire. Now, if you got 60 some odd women or 25 or whatever, how many women saying something, there's something there. Now, I understand that Sue L. Robinson had a job to do. She went by the parameters of what the NFL had bargained with the NFL Players Association on what kind of punishment. Don't blame her. Excuse me, I hit the microphone. Don't shoot the messenger. The 6 games was basically, I guess what they said was a parameter of what they were supposed to do. Because the last time this situation came up with like Ray Rice, he only got 2 games. That was wrong. 6 games, that was wrong. And from what I heard, that he basically turned down a plea, which or a agreement from the NFL to suspend for 12 games and maybe the $8 to $10 million fine. So, hey, he said, no, I don't want no fine. I don't want no suspension. Okay. So when this came back, the NFL was going to say, hell no. No. We can't deal with this. I know. To believe me, folks, from what I heard all this week, it's a true shit show. And I don't really, I can't wrap my mind around 6 games for something despicable and disrespectful and disgusting that this guy did. 6 games? That's basically a slap on the wrist. NFL Players Association said that they wasn't going to dispute it because I think they knew that it wasn't going to be that much. But you know what? I'm tired of this shit. Excuse the expression, I am truly tired of this shit. Because the thing is that, you know what? Let this thing play out. And, the dude's going to get a year. Dude's going to get a year. And like I said, I'm going to make a little note on my fantasy football page. Don't draft this guy. Because I feel as though if you draft this guy, you're subject to forfeits. That's how I feel. That's my opinion. But anyway, I don't really am tired of that douche. Excuse the expression. I hate calling people names. That's not me. I don't call people names. I respect everybody. But you know what? Hey, I just don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. This is really disrespectful to the victims of sexual abuse or these heinous crimes that happen to them. And my thing is this. The NFL has to get this right. Get this right some kind of way. But then again, I don't know. You got guys like Dan Snyder can do what he's done. You got Robert Kraft fooling around in, parlors and, massage parlors and stuff. What is right? Cousin Aaron said this a long time ago. He said the NFL is a shit show. It's truly shit. And I believe him. He's right. I didn't believe him on the stance that he took, but he was right when he mentioned that. It is a shit show. All right, I'm done with this, and I'm done with this half. This is the end of the first half. I'm going to go into the second half. And matter of fact, I'm going to talk a little bit about Cousin Aaron on the way back in on the second half. But we're done with the first half, and like I said, it was a long one. About an hour on the first half. But I want you guys to know that I really appreciate that. This is, it's really, really good for me and therapeutic for me to come on here to talk to you this morning because, like I said, after the week I had, I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Goody, give me the sound for end of the half. Okay. That's the end of the first half. And I'll be back with the second half. And like I said, we definitely have to go to our voice actress lady. And I appreciate it. And like I said, when I come back, I'll have something on Cousin Aaron, Bill Russell, Vin Scully. And I got something special that I'm going to drop before I talk about Vin Scully. I'm going to talk about announcers, baseball announcers. And some of the guys that had some really, really good calls. Catchphrases. We're going to talk about that. But anyway, give me this here, and we'll be right back with the second half. Here's my voice actress lady.
You're listening to the Guru.
Oh.
You're listening to the Guru Talking Sports Podcast.
0-1 the count to Chris Cruz. Out on deck to pinch hit is one of the men we mentioned earlier as a possible Joey Amalfitano. Here's the strike one pitch to Cruz. Fastball swung on and missed. Strike two. And you can almost taste the pressure now. Koufax lifted his cap, ran his fingers through his black hair, then pulled the cap back down, fussing at the bill. Cruz must feel it too as he backs out, heaves a sigh, took off his helmet, put it back on, and steps back up to the plate. Tracewski is over to his right to fill up the middle. Kennedy is deep to guard the line. The strike two pitch on the way. Fastball outside, ball one. Krug started to go after it and held up, and Torborg held the ball high in the air, trying to convince Vargo, but Eddie said, no, sir. 1-2, the count to Chris Krug. It is 9:41 p.m. on
Vin Scully.
The 1-2 pitch on the way. Curveball, tap foul, off to the left of the plate.
Describing the fourth no-hitter, which was a perfect game by Sandy Koufax. I want to apologize for the technical difficulties because I'm the only one here doing this. Caden Guru is not here. Is not here. I'm doing all this by myself. So, I apologize to the voice actress lady. And I told her that a lot of people have been giving her a lot of comments and positive comments. And I told her, I said, just stick with me, honey. You'll be all right. I'll make you famous. Just joking around. All right. Also, I wanted to say, pull up a chair and sit with the old bald head guru, which is a little something that Vin Scully used to say is sit down here for a couple of hours and listen to the old redhead as we talk a little bit of baseball here, which is one of his little catchphrases. And like I said, I mentioned before, I got a little special something before we talk about, Vin Scully a little bit. But I wanted to mention something about Cousin Aaron. And Cousin Aaron, like I said, we still are very saddened by his passing. And I mentioned to you guys that, all the time that in the studio that I work out of, which is actually technically my home office, my den, my man cave, I have a chair that sits right next to me. I have a couch that I sit on. And actually the couch is Jacksonville Jaguars teal colored. And looks pretty nice. A little rundown. I'm thinking about getting something different. Maybe changing this room around a little bit. Because, the dogs like to come in here. Miss Guru doesn't. She thinks this is a eyesore or whatever. But it's my place. And I keep it neat. And I do keep it, there's a few things in here that I definitely could get rid of. But anyway, the chair sits here. And Cousin Aaron's presence is with me every single time I do this podcast. Because he's always going to be a part of this podcast. Now, we got into something that we were talking about. And it's one of the segments that's going to come back in the fall when I do basically almost everything football. I'm going to have little segments in there about baseball and hockey and basketball, anything that's major. I know that, I'm definitely going to try to get some MMA in there. I'm definitely going to try to get some World Cup soccer in there, and it's going to be very, very heavy from, I'll say, September all the way up until February because, the NFL season is coming up. Everybody's excited about that. Then you got fantasy football that's going on. Like I said, you got Thanksgiving Day. You got Labor Day. We're going to be talking, it's going to be very, very hectic. But, the thing about what I like doing during the summertime is that I have time to basically catch up on some things because, football, the NFL takes over everything. It takes over every little thing. And, some of the sports, they get pushed out. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to try to pack everything in. Now, this podcast is going to be long. It's probably going to be about almost 2 hours because it's over an hour right now. And I'm just getting into the second half. But I'm going to, try to run through this and try to get it done. But I want you guys to know that I really appreciate you sticking with me and hanging out with me this morning on August 7th. 2022. And, it's day after the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. Jacob deGrom is going to be pitching later on tonight. Orioles are going to go for the sweep of Pittsburgh, and all kinds of stuff going on in the world of sports. And like I said, I like to mention a lot of things. Love to mention my sports. Love to mention my favorite radio show that I listen to. I listen to the Jim Rome show, but my favorite, right now, I definitely have to lean a little bit more to the DA show with DA, Damon Amendola, Andrew Bogish, Sean Marash, Pete the Body Bellotti, all the guys that fill in and do their thing. Peter Schwartz, Pat Boyle, everybody, E-Man, Greg Caserta, everybody that I listen to, and I would love to meet all these people because they've actually treated me like family, and I really appreciate that. Like I said, me and Cousin Aaron was talking about some of the things that piss you off. I don't know if I played this before, but I want to play this little clip, and I thought it was kind of funny. But here's me and Cousin Aaron talking about things that piss you off.
Now, we know it's a brand new year. We know that, the holidays were just past us. And now, what is really pissing you off? All right, Cousin Aaron, I got to ask you right now, what is pissing you off? Do you have anything?
Yeah, I got the same old damn thing I had for the last 2 weeks. I can't understand why these people are not wearing masks at these games, man. That pisses me off every time I look at the screen. I look at these football games, they're screaming and hollering and just pouring the poison all the way down to the field. They're each other. They look to the left, they're talking and screaming. They look to the right, they're talking and screaming. What is the use of the mask? That's pissing me off every week, man. There's nothing you can do about it because they're letting the people in to the stadiums. That's money, man. They pay money more than somebody's health. And like you said last week and the week before, the pandemic is not going nowhere. Check out your family, man. Your family is very important. Protect your family, protect other people, protect yourself. Every week until something goes right, man. It pisses me off, Guru. It's something to be pissed off about. And revert back to Kyrie Irving. You got a right to be vaccinated, not vaccinated. That's your right. But you know what? He's killing his career by doing this. He could be a first team all ballot.
Hall of Fame.
On the ballot for Hall of Fame, man.
Yeah.
And this pandemic is no joke. People keep thinking it's a joke and they're dying every day, but it's a joke. So that's what's pissing me off. Still pissing me off.
Yeah. I agree with you, but
all right, well, if you heard me laughing in the background, he was really adamant about that. He was really, really upset about it. And I don't blame him because, it's just really, you got, guys, come on. It's just the thing about, being, doing the right thing, and being able to, be vaccinated. I mean, come on now. You got to do the right thing. And that was one of the things when, this was, about January or so that we were talking about this. And, it's still, some places here in the United States, it's still, the pandemic rate is still going up. I mean, we still got to make sure that we're, keeping ourselves safe from the coronavirus. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. And it really pissed him off, and he was really upset about it. But my thought was, I agree with him. I definitely agree with him, and I wanted to mention that because, like I say, I try to play a little bit of clip of Cousin Aaron every single podcast, and I'm definitely going to have some of his thoughts from football. I'm digging up a lot of his thoughts from football that hopefully can carry us through the football season. Okay, now I wanted to mention Bill Russell. Now, Bill Russell passed away this week, and it was, it kind of got me because I really like Bill Russell, not just because of his playing as a basketball player. He was actually a very, very deep individual. Him and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who I really, love and admire. He's probably one of the last great guys. Him and Jim Brown. Jim Brown is still alive and still with us, and I'm glad that he's still out there. I remember a picture with I think it was Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali, and a couple other guys, and they always wanted equal rights for African American players and everything, but I always thought that Bill Russell was a hero. Definitely a hero. I enjoyed listening to Bill Russell every time he spoke. And I'm trying to find something with him and Chris Schenkel. And I really, really appreciated Bill Russell. And I wanted you guys to know that he was a figure larger than life. Larger than life and very, very, very polarizing as a man and as a figure. Very smart. Very, very educated. And one of the greatest winners we ever had. If you can remember some of the things that went on in his life, he was one of the best shot blockers of all time, defensive players of all time. He was the only one that could get into Chamberlain's head and make Chamberlain think that he was like, oh man, I'm coming in here, I'm going to beat, these Celtics, handle Bill Russell. I'll tell you one thing. Bill Russell handled Chamberlain every single time. And one of the things I like about Bill Russell is that stats wasn't no big deal to him. Chamberlain could have about like 50 or 40 points, 20 rebounds or whatever. Bill Russell could have about 20 points and 40 rebounds. Two of the titans, big titans of the, modern basketball back in the 50s, 60s, 70s or so. Those two guys were really, really good. And I can, if you hear some thundering right now, or if you hear anything, just think about those two titans playing against each other once again up there in heaven. Man. Probably getting coached, Bill Russell getting coached by Red Auerbach. And Chamberlain getting coached or getting talked to by Dr. Jerry Buss. And Bill Sharman coaching him. Wow. What a matchup. What a great, great, great time. I I've always, like I said, loved Bill Russell for his just being a great role model. A great role model. And still, one of the greatest people that you could ever meet. I heard a story from a columnist. I can't think of his name right now. Bill Russell told him, he said, I wanted to talk to you and let you know that we can't be friends. Bill Russell picked his friends, handpicked his friends. And I think it goes back to the problems that he had with the city of Boston. He always mentioned that he played for the Celtics, not for the city of Boston. Boston and Bill Russell didn't get along a lot. I've heard a lot of stories about, the struggles that he went through in Boston and being a black man in Boston. I'm not making this a race thing. It's not a race thing. To me, it's not a race thing. I just wanted to put the facts out there. You can interpret it any way you want to, but I'm not a person about race. I don't look at race. I look at the facts and I look at people. I see people. Anyway, Bill Russell, we're going to miss you, but I want to play a little bit of a clip from Bill Russell in his own words about how he was as a player. Check this out.
4 to 80. I was ranked number 2 and number 3 best high jumper in track and field in the whole world. And I could run the 400 meters in the 40s.
40 seconds remaining, an 8-point lead. Bill Russell goes in. He's done that.
My vertical was I could get my eyes above the rim, and I could touch the top of the backboard.
Siegfried, running by Goodrich. Russell rebound. Cruising in the lane. Russell.
He was a complete basketball player. I'm talking about the fact that the man could score. He averaged 17 points a game, which is only about 7 points less than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And we all know how he played defense. You, Michael Jordan, Will, you have to pick one person. Who do you pick?
You pick Bill Russell. He will never distort your defense or your offense. I could close down the whole front court. The way I play, my team wins.
Bill did it in a variety of ways as far as blocking shots, keeping them in bounds, running the floor. We just try to make everybody around us better, and sometimes you got to be creative about it. The bar was set very high when we got there, and all we could do is just do our best to win championships and continue to honor Bill Russell because he is the man.
Bill Russell was the perfect all-star teammate, precisely because his very raison d'etre was to make everybody else look good. Points did not interest him. He got you the ball. That's what he did.
Fantastic rebounding by Big Bill Russell.
Bill Russell, 30 points and 40, I repeat, 40 rebounds. He can even...
One of the things I like about Bill Russell is that he was a total team player. Total team player. He basically didn't worry about scoring. He wanted to make sure that his team won. And that's what made Bill Russell one of the greatest winners in major sports. Out of the 4 major sports, he's the winningest player that ever played any of the 4 sports. 2 championships in college with the University of San Francisco. Olympic gold medal, and 11 championships in 13 years. When I was born, he was basically on one of those great Celtic teams. Oh, man. You mentioned these teams. Casey Jones, John Havlicek, Don Nelson. I know I'm, forgetting a lot of other people. Bob Cousy. There were so many great guys that were a part of that Boston dynasty. And can you believe that they? How can you? This is unreal. 11 championships in 13 years. That's how good Bill Russell was. It didn't matter how many points. It mattered if his team won. And if you heard that inside that clip, he wanted to get you the ball to make sure that you scored and the team won. Total team player. That's all I can think about when I think about Bill Russell. Like I was mentioning before, oh man, this is really hard for me to pull up. I'm trying to find a clip of Bill Russell and Chris Schenkel together. Because Bill Russell and Chris Schenkel were like a big team. Big team. I mean, they were really, really good together. And believe me, I really enjoyed listening to them. When they had the game of the week and everything, I always listened to, when I watched basketball back in the early days, Bill Russell and Chris Schenkel was like one of the best basketball play-by-play teams that I ever seen. And like I said, I'm trying to pull this up. I'm trying to find this. And hopefully I can find it. I'm doing it right now while I'm actually talking to you. And I think I found it. But like I said, I really, really, really appreciate Bill Russell and his contributions to the game. All right, I can't find it, so I'm just going to go ahead and move on. But anyway, I got something special for you right now. I'm actually going to read something to you about the greatest baseball play-by-play guys and announcers of all time. Now, this is a little bit of a list, and I'm going to give you some of the great baseball announcers from around the country, and I'm going to give you some of the catchphrases that I basically had or pulled up from them. Okay, a couple of the guys that are on here, I didn't get a chance to find any phrases for them, but you might know some of these guys, and if you do, you'll remember their catchphrases. Even if I didn't mention it, you'll probably remember it. Ralph Kiner. I used to watch him on the Mets games when they used to have WOR on the television. Now, you got to remember one thing. Turner, when the early days of cable, WOR was broadcasted out in New York, and you was able to watch Met games. And I do remember Ralph Kiner on the Met games. TBS had Turner Broadcasting, which had Atlanta Braves games, and basically, you was watching, Skip Curry and those guys down there. And now correct me if I'm wrong on the call letters or whatever, but out of Chicago, you got Cubs games, and you watched a lot of Harry Carey, and Harry Carey was, oh man, he was funny as I don't know what. I got a chance to go to Wrigley Field, and I did get a chance to go to Wrigley Field, and I did get a chance to go to Old Comiskey Park when I was in Chicago back in '89, and I was in the Navy then, and I was stationed in Long Beach, and I had to go up there for training, and it was one of the best things I ever did. I got a chance to catch Cub games and White Sox games there at the same time. One of the greatest things I've ever done in my lifetime. So Bob Uecker, John Miller, Ted Leitner from down in San Diego. When I lived in San Diego, I used to go to a lot of Padre games down at Jack Murphy Stadium, and I got a chance to watch some of that. John Miller used to be with the Baltimore Orioles. I remember catching some of his games, and he moved over to San Francisco. And, if you guys remember John Miller, he was also on Sunday Night Baseball as well. Okay, here's some of the guys that I thought of and some of their catchphrases. For Oakland, Gene Kuiper. That baby's gone. That baby's gone from him. Gary Cohn. It's out of here. Gary Thorne from Baltimore. Goodbye, home run. San Francisco, Dwayne Kuiper. High drive. It's out of here. Now, some of these, I know. I'm just trying to read them as I wrote them here. And it might not be the same as the announcers sounding it, but I just wanted to mention some of these guys that are my all-time favorites. Bill King from Oakland. Holy Toledo. If you hear some of these and recognize some of these, you'll know. These are some of the greatest catchphrases of all time. Okay, from New York, the Yankees, Mel Allen. How about that? And he also was the host of This Week in Baseball, if you remember back. I remember I used to watch This Week in Baseball all the time because then it was like the show back in the 70s and 80s or so that basically told you about what went on that week in the baseball game and in the game of baseball. Correct myself. And Mel Allen also was, he actually gave Joe DiMaggio the nickname of Joltin' Joe. John Sterling, he's still around, and I listen to him. I usually try to listen to Yankee games and listen to him, even though I'm not really a gigantic Yankee fan. I do appreciate people from around the country that I can listen to. It is high. It is deep. It is a home run. What a Judgian blast. All rise. Here comes the judge. New saying for the judge, Aaron Judge. And I usually listen to him all the time because he always got something funny to say. I remember about a year ago, he made a comment about, he said something to the effect of 1-800-8-million. He said, is that the phone number? And him and Susan Waldman, great sidekick to him, said, that's the phone number. He said, I don't know if that's the phone number. I just read it, what they write, what they give me. So John Sterling is a staple in the Yankees, and like I said, I get a chance to listen to him all the time. Michael Kay, see ya. All right, Harry Callis from Philadelphia. I grew up with listening to I was lucky. I used to listen to Oriole games, Chuck Thompson, Brooks Robinson, uh, Jim Palmer, Gary Thorne, Joe Angel. All these guys were my Baltimore guys. I'm going to mention them in a second. But in Philadelphia, I grew up with Harry Callis, Richie Ashburn, and they would basically, talk about the game, and they would Mike Schmidt, all these guys. They used to be, they were really, really great guys. Harry Callis, I got a chance to meet him, which is one of the things that I always cherish because I met him twice, and Harry Callis was one of the nicest guys I ever met. Very, very, very nice guy. Very nice man. And I always, one time he saw me and I had a Dodger hat on. He said, "What are you doing with the Dodger hat on here in Philadelphia? Don't you have a Phillies hat?" I'm like, "Yes, sir, but, I like the Dodgers too." He said, "Don't worry about it. We can get you a Phillies hat one day." But he was something else. Very, 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 very nice man. "It's out of here." Always remember that call by Harry Callis. And I wanted to say that, he was very, very nice man. When he passed away, I was very sad as well. All right. Like I mentioned, Chuck Thompson was one of the original guys that I listened to, being from the Baltimore area. And all my Baltimore peeps know that Chuck Thompson was one of the guys that we grew up on. He had a saying, when things were going right for the Orioles, he would say, "Ain't that beer cold? Wow, ain't that beer cold?" And that was one of his most famous catchphrases. Chuck Thompson also did Baltimore Colts games, which I remember, sitting on the old porch with the dad and the grandpa and listening to Chuck Thompson. Harry Carey for the Cubs. "It might be. It could be. It is a home run." And his famous slogan was, "Holy cow." Also, at the end of a Cubs win, he would always say, "Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win!" And that was one of my favorites. Got a chance to see Harry Carey sing the national or the "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," which is one of the things that he basically revolutionized up in Chicago. Got a chance to see him sing it live in the stadium. And one of the things I've always remembered was Harry Carey was always a character. And I had a T-shirt that used to say, "Cubs fan, Bud man." And it had a picture of Harry Carey on it and him holding a Budweiser, which is one of his favorite drinks. And I think he drank a lot of that during the games as well, while he's calling Cub games. So somebody can debate me on that, but I think that was one of his favorite things. Ken Coleman he broadcast for Cleveland, Boston, and Cincinnati. And his famous saying was, they usually show a movie on a flight like that after a ball was hit out of the park, And one of the catchphrases that I always heard was, "Boy, that thing was so hit hard and fly high. They should have had a stewardess on that one." Yeah, so got to give it up for Ken Coleman. Roswell. Now, he announced for Pittsburgh. And he used to say, I never heard this slogan before, but it was one of the ones that came up, and I wanted to mention that. It says, "Open the window, Aunt Minnie, here it comes." And I guess that was his most famous baseball home run call. which was good, which was funny. Now, the Brooklyn Dodgers had Red Barber. Red Barber was one of the greatest announcers of all time. His was Old Doctor. And also, he has this other one, which is pretty famous. He's running like a bunny with his tail on fire. Old Redhead, Red Barber. He was the one that also said, hey, sit down here and check out the old Redhead for a little while, which is a really, really good slogan. Seattle had Dave Newhouse, and he would say something like this. Get the rye bread and the mustard, Grandma. It's grand salami time. And he would say, my, oh my, for home run calls for him. Hawk Harrelson was one of the guys I got a chance to see when the White Sox used to have a broadcast on the TV, which, made me fall in love with Chicago White Sox baseball games. And his most famous one is, you can put it on the board. Yes. Always one of my favorite home run calls. When a White Sox pitcher would strike out another opposing batter, first thing he would say, he gone. He gone. And he would always refer to the White Sox as the good guys. He would say something like, 3-2 good guys. Bottom of the fourth inning. Here we go. And something like that. Ernie Harwell, one of the best announcers of our time. And he said one of his famous catchphrases was, he stood there like a house on the side of a road, which is one of his most famous calls. But Detroit Tiger fans know that Ernie Harwell was one of the greatest. And for Vin Scully, my favorite one is, it's time for Dodger baseball. And I used to, like I said, mention before in the beginning, that every time I used to listen to Vin Scully, I would always want to definitely hear the beginning of his call on the radio or on television. And one of the other things that, I heard a lot of sound bites and stuff from him this week. But one of the things I wanted to mention about Vin Scully is that he actually was a spokesperson for Farmer John hot dogs, Farmer John meats. And he always used to say, why don't you come on out to the ballpark and grab yourself a good old Dodger dog made by Farmer John. And, man, like I said, living in Los Angeles for the time I did, I was lucky. I was really lucky to pull up and listen to Vin Scully. Well, I think I did a lot in this podcast for this week. And I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to play before I leave you, I'm going to definitely play a tribute to Vin Scully once again. And I'm going to play his his farewell. And I'm going to leave you with that at the end. But let's go back a little bit to the call of Vin Scully on Sandy Koufax's perfect game. One of the things I always remember and always enjoyed was hearing some of the clips and where he goes 2-2 to Harvey Keene. Swung on and missed a perfect game. And Vin Scully was the perfect announcer to know when not to speak and give the audience a taste of what's going on. Simply one of the perfect guys to explain the ball game to you. When when West Coast people, when they came out to the West Coast in 1958, Walter O'Malley made it a point that Vin Scully is coming with us. And he made that trip out there, and he was the perfect guy to sit there and explain the game to you and let you know what was the game going on, what's inside the game going on. The perfect spokesperson for baseball. 67 years. And just remember this. He saw Jackie Robinson, Roberto Clemente, Don Larson, Roy Campanella, Mickey Mantle. He saw all these guys. Clayton Kershaw. Wow. I mean, if you can imagine how it's unbelievable how his baseball career expanded all those years. Wow. I mean, he was announcing game 12 years before I was even born. Remarkable. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take a little quick break, and I'm gonna set up a couple things for you, and I'm gonna give you the rest of this call, which is one of the most famous calls I've heard. And like I said, not to take away from Bill Buckner's miscue in the World Series that he called, not to take away from Hank Aaron's record-breaking home run, 715, and not to take away from Kirk Gibson's home run in the 88 World Series. But this one was always one of my favorites, and like I said, this one was always sticking with me. But I'll be right back in a second, and let me set this up for you, and then we'll go to the end of the podcast here. Voice actress lady is here right now. Give me 1 second.
You're listening to the Guru Talking Sports Podcast.
He is 1 out away from the promised land. And Harvey Keene is coming up. So Harvey Keene is batting for Bob Hendley. The time on the scoreboard is 9:44. The date, September the 9th, 1965. And Koufax working on veteran Harvey Keene. Sandy into his windup, and the pitch, a fastball for a strike. He has struck out, by the way, 5 consecutive batters. And that's gone unnoticed. Sandy ready in the strike one pitch. Very high, and he lost his hat. He really forced that one. That's only the second time tonight where I have had the feeling that Sandy threw instead of pitched, trying to get that little extra. And that time he tried so hard his hat fell off. He took an extremely long stride to the plate, and Torborg had to go up to get it. 1-1 to Harvey Keene. Now he's ready. Fastball high, ball 2. You can't blame a man for pushing just a little bit now. Sandy backs off, mops his forehead, runs his left index finger along his forehead, dries it off on his left pants leg. All the while, Keene just waiting. Now Sandy looks into his windup, and the 2-1 pitch to Keene. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. It is 9:46 p.m. 2-2 to Harvey Keene. One strike away. Sandy into his windup. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. A perfect game. On the scoreboard in right field, it is 9:46 p.m. in the city of the Angels, Los Angeles, California. And a crowd of 29,139 just sitting in to see the only pitcher in baseball history to hurl 4 no-hit, no-run games. He has done it 4 straight years, and now he capped it on his 4th no-hitter. He made it a perfect game. And Sandy Koufax, whose name will always remind you of strikeouts, did it with a flourish. He struck out the last 6 consecutive batters. So when he wrote his name in capital letters in the record books, that K stands out even more than the OUFAX.
Totally remarkable call by the late Vin Scully. I tell you, I've always, like I said before, like I mentioned before, I've always looked at that as probably being one of his most memorable calls. I've always enjoyed listening to Vin Scully. And like I said, I gotta say this, he basically was the guy that basically told me everything I wanted to know about baseball. I mean, more than anybody else. I mean, more than any other announcer I can think of. You know, and like I mentioned, there was some great announcers that I talked about before. Like I said, born in Baltimore, grew up with Chuck Thompson, Brooks Robinson when he was announcer, Jim Palmer, who's still announcing. And, you know, these guys were staples of when I grew up. But like I said, when I got a chance to listen to Vin Scully call, you know, one of 25 World Series games, or, you know, even an NFL game or so, or even listen to him talk about golf, he brung me in. He brung me in, made it easy for me to understand what he was, you know, what the game was about, what baseball was about, what golf was about, what football was about. Just remarkable. 67 years will be matched by no one, ever, I don't think. But I want you guys to know that this has been real enlightening and very, very good podcast for me, because I got a chance to show you a little bit of inside of what I am. I'm a sensitive guy that loves sports. And like I said, being a minor league podcast hack or guy, I really enjoy just being able just to, you know, talk about the things that I really enjoy about sports. Bill Russell, Vin Scully, 2 of the best. We lost them this weekend. We will always cherish their memory. We also lost Nichelle Nichols from Star Trek, if you remember. Uhura. One of the first African-American ladies on television. And She was basically one of the staples of that show Star Trek. We also lost Michael Henderson, a jazz great, with some of the cuts of some of his most famous cuts was "You Are My Starship" and "Wide Receiver." Also, "Take Me, I'm Yours." Great jazz musician. We lost him a couple weeks ago in July, but I didn't even know it until Friday when I found out that they were talking about a celebration of life for him. And one of the guys on the radio, the jazz radio station I listened to, said he wasn't able to make it. So I wanted to mention him as well. I want to say thank you for all the clips from YouTube. Thank you for the doors in the beginning. And, thank you for just being able to listen to this. I'm going to go through the particulars, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with an emotional farewell send-off for Vin Scully. I know that most of this has been about Vin Scully, and not to disrespect Bill Russell or any other people that we mentioned before, but like I said, this was really, hopefully this week will be better. And as I look out into the window of where I'm at, my studio, I just want to say thank you. Thank you once again for everything. Find this podcast on YouTube, The Guru of Sports Show on YouTube. Instagram, you can find this at Guru Talking Sports _podcast on IG. On YouTube, or like I said, I'll mention YouTube. I'm just mentioning that again. But also wanted to let you guys know on Twitter, I'm at Go39 Mac and Bear, Delaware. Mac and Bear from Delaware, I guess that's what it is. Also, the Guru Talking Sports podcast has its own page, his own Twitter handle, and it's at MacGTS _BB39. Mac is something that I was always called as a Mac truck driver, or, this one guy that always, he used to call me, he said he couldn't remember my name. He'd always say, "Hey Mac, hey Mac, hey Mac." So that's how I got the name Mac. The Guru of Sports Show, Guru Talking Sports, is the GTS. The _ BB is actually for the battleship that I was on, Battleship BB-62, which is the year I was born. But the 39 is my favorite number, and I made it Mac GTS _ BB39. That's where you'll find the Guru Talking Sports podcast Twitter handle. I want to thank Spreaker for giving me this platform and let me talk. You can find this on Spreaker, Spotify, Podchasers, Podcasts, Addicts, iTunes, iHeart, Amazon, wherever you find your podcast, that's where I'm at. I want to give big props and thank yous to the Mary Mac show on Grief. I definitely got to reach out to her because, like I said, after a week like this, I definitely needed somebody to talk to. And she was there. I definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate my man, Jeff Duarte. Get well, my friend, and I'll be talking to you soon. Cali Sports News is who I write for. I'm still a part member, and I really appreciate the opportunity. And thank you. And I'm going to try to get something out soon article on Vin Scully as well. My cousin Curtis and his grandson Jarrett, appreciate you. The young GM, they're my family. Everybody I mentioned in the shout outs is my family, no matter where they are. My man, Mrs. Schick, appreciate you. Danny Rivera, great guy, appreciate you. My baseball insider and also my Raider fan, I definitely got to speak to you and talk to you about the Raiders. My man Dave May Jr., who is a Major League scout for the Toronto Blue Jays. Love the Blue Jays as well. Love the Birds, Orioles, Blue Jays, Cardinals, all those. The crew, my board op, Caden Guru, who was never here. He's out there working, doing his thing. Good luck, son, on your driving test this week. I'm going to be praying for you, and I know that you'll make it. I know that you'll pass. Ray Guru is my co-host, show advisor, and he does all the other good things for me as well. Cousin Aaron will always be with us. Like I said, I'll pull up a chair for him every single week, and we love and miss you always, Cousin Aaron. Also want to thank his lovely girlfriend, Miss Ann Rail. If I pronounce your last name wrong, I'm sorry. And as always, we touch base all the time, and I always give her some hope of trying to make it through without Aaron. The motto of the show and saying is, this has been a Black Goat production for Black Goat Sports. Copyright 2022, all rights reserved. We don't hate, we congratulate. We always create, and we don't steal from anyone. Use the hashtag Guru Talking Sports and the hashtag Big Props for anything. And if I see that, I definitely will thank you for it. All right. Now, I got a lot of people to shout out here, so please bear with me. My guards at my work, I appreciate you. Tony, Hunter, Betty, Christian, Kate, my other buddies, I can't remember you guys' name. I'm sorry. I apologize. The one young man that I always talk to, and he's always a great guy to talk to. And my buddy that I always tease Joe about, I appreciate you. I got so many people that I want to thank and just say shout outs to. Really, really appreciate you guys. And you guys do a really great job. My people on Twitter, Bella B, thank you for your concern, and I really appreciate you. You're like my little sister, and I really appreciate you. Really appreciate talking to you all the time. My man Jeff in Southland, Rick in Buffalo, I heard from you, and we got some stuff to do together. Mel, I hope everything is working out with you. And you know that if you ever need me, I'm always there for you. My man Dan, Dixieland Dan, appreciate you. Mike, great call on the show this week, and funny as hell. I definitely have to get you on here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna mention that in a few after I finish this. Lori, appreciate you. Adriana, appreciate you. Rob, Pant Legs, Senor Pant Legs, Cigar City Capo, Justin, Coach Ihorn, MP, Maria in Denver, Eric and Nova, Steve, my man Steve, appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Justin in Calgary, thank you. Thank you, Big Larry. Carla and Morton, appreciate you. Thank you. Monica in LA, appreciate you. Mariana in Richmond, appreciate you. Rich, my man, Mariana from Richmond, I did mention her. Appreciate you. And thank you for reaching out to me. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Mitchell in Abilene, appreciate you. Thank you. Dan in Mechanicsburg. Miraz, thank you for just making me laugh all the time. Everybody on the DA show, really appreciate you guys. Hawaiian Tony Dancer, thank you. Adriana, thank you. And my man Derek in Pittsburgh. I'm definitely going to try to get out to Pittsburgh to see a Pirates game, and I definitely want to go through that stadium. A couple of my bucket list stadiums is Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and Citi Field. I've been to Yankee Stadium, old and new, so I definitely want to get there. I've been to Wrigley, been to Fenway. I definitely want to get up there. My people on Facebook, Charlie, Chris, Kate, Denise, Jeff, Big Al, Jamie Dorsey, Mike Fox, I appreciate you. Everybody that follows me on Twitter, everybody that follows me on Facebook, and like I said, find me on Facebook at Gurus Briscoe. That's my Facebook for the show, Gurus Briscoe. All right, I did have something to mention to you guys that I've been holding back on. And what it is basically this. For the football season, since, I don't have a co-host, what I'm going to do is I'm going to challenge you guys. If you want to come on this podcast and hang out with me for an episode, you can. I'm giving all the people out there a chance to hang out with me and basically pick against the guru. The NFL Pick Challenge against the guru will start the first week of the NFL season and go all the way through to the Super Bowl. Now, it's very important that you do this because, like I said, it's very important because I want to be able to connect with everybody out there. A lot of people say they want to, be on the podcast. I have no problem with that. Contact me through Twitter. Contact me through Facebook. Let me know, when do you want to come on? Pick a week. Say, hey, look, I want to come on in week 12. Pick a week. I want to come on in week 3. I want to come on in week 1. I want to come on anytime. Already got a couple people that are coming on here. I'm definitely going to get my man Rick in Buffalo in here because, Rick in Buffalo is, good people. Great smack off guy. And, like I said, I'm definitely working on him to get him in here. I definitely want to get Bella B in here. Bella B, I want you, to, come in here and, pick against me and we can pick some games. Everybody, I don't care, wherever you're from. And we can sit back and talk about your team. And, we're going to have fun. I want to make this fun this year. I want to be able to challenge you guys and pick against the guru. And I want you guys to know that the guru are always right. So, you're going to lose. Nah, it's a joke. It's a joke. But anyway, you guys come on here. We pick and we're having some fun. I would love to have everybody that I talk to, if you want to, come on in. There's, 20 some odd weeks that we're going to be talking football. Come on in. You're welcome. I open this thing up to everybody. You are very much welcome. And like I said, I love you guys. I really appreciate you guys. And thank you for giving me this platform to give back to you guys, to say thank you for everything that you do. Like I said, it's not about me. It's about you guys. If I can make you laugh or make someone laugh at me, it's going to be all right. It's going to be fine. And I really appreciate that. Okay. Like I said, I always leave you guys with a moment of silence for Cousin Aaron. But this week, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to leave you with Vin Scully. Now, this is a 3-minute clip. But after this 3 minutes is over, you hear silence, and then that'll be the end of the podcast. I want to say thank you. Thank you guys for everything that you do. Thank you. I really appreciate you. I love you all. You take care of yourself, and thank you for your concern about me. I'm going to be okay. God bless you all. Thank you. And do me a favor. Go out and be good to somebody and do something nice for somebody. Care about your fellow man and care about yourself as well. Like I said, I'm not afraid about talking about my mental health, but I want you guys to know that I really appreciate you guys. You guys are one of the reasons why I want to do this every Sunday morning or whenever I can, Saturday night or so. Thank you. Thank you once again. You guys take care, and I'll talk to you soon. I'm going to leave you with Vin Scully in his memory. Later.
Many years ago, a little red-headed boy was walking home from school, passing a Chinese laundry, and stopped to see the score of a World Series game posted in the window. The Yankees beat the Giants 18-4 on October the 2nd, 1936. Well, the boy's reaction was pity for the Giants, and he became a rabid Giants fan from that day forward, until the joyous moment when he was hired to broadcast Brooklyn Dodger games in 1950. Ironically, October the 2nd, 2016, will mark my final broadcast of a Giants-Dodger game, and it will be exactly 80 years to the day since that little boy fell in love with baseball. God has been very generous to that little boy, allowing him to fulfill a dream of becoming a broadcaster and to live it for 67 years. Since 1958, you and I have really grown up together through the good times and the bad. The transistor radio is what bound us together. By the way, were you at the Coliseum when we sang Happy Birthday to an umpire? Were you among the crowd that groaned at one of my puns? Or did you kindly laugh at one of my little jokes? Did I put you to sleep with the transistor radio tucked under your pillow? You know, you were simply always there for me. I've always felt that I needed you more than you needed me, and that holds true to this very day. I've been privileged to share in your passion and love for this great game. My family means everything to me, and I'll now be able to share life's experiences with them. My wife, Sandy, our children, Kevin, Todd, Aaron, Kelly, and Catherine, along with our entire family, will join me in sharing God's blessings of that precious gift of time. You folks have truly been the wind beneath my wings, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me on this incredible journey of 67 years of broadcasting Dodger baseball. You know, friends, so many people have wished me congratulations on a 67-year career in baseball, and they've wished me a wonderful retirement with my family. And now, all I can do is tell you what I wish for you. May God give you for every storm a rainbow, for every tear a smile, for every care a promise, and a blessing in each trial. For every problem life seems a faithful friend to share, For every sigh, a sweet song, and an answer for each prayer. You and I have been friends for a long time, but I know in my heart that I've always needed you more than you've ever needed me. And I'll miss our time together more than I can say. But you know what? There will be a new day and eventually a new year. And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball. So this is Vin Scully wishing you a very pleasant good afternoon wherever you may be.